A popular comment that I'll often leave on Facebook is, congrats on being able to invite more life into your life. Now, I say that, and it's a very short sentence, but it has impactful meaning, even was highlighted by a person who commented on that comment that said, wow, that's like the most powerful thing I've ever read. To me, I feel like that's very ordinary, but that exists. Why this podcast exists, because what I feel is ordinary often can be extraordinary for someone that's never thought about this stuff as much as I have. But this isn't the actual root question where you, the listener, might be thinking about today and struggling like, okay, that's a great comment, that's a great mindset, but that's not what I'm thinking about today. And I really don't know how to navigate that gap. Well, the question that you're probably asking yourself is, why don't I feel like I'm living? Why does it feel like I'm in a rut? Why does it feel like this is just rinse and repeat? Why does it feel like there's no depth to this thing we called life? Why does it feel like every relationship that I have is superficial? Why does it feel like I can only talk about the weather with another guy? Why does it feel like I have to watch an ESPN just be able to have a conversation with the dad at the park? When that's not what I want to talk about. And I don't know how to change that behavior. I don't know how to change that thinking. Those are probably closer to the thoughts that haunt you on a daily basis. And you're struggling in this loop of going around and around and around and around and around. Well, how to get more life into your life is essentially this. You have to first realize that the patterns of your thinking are actually the barrier to life. Another important phrase there. Because what happens in our mind is we think and we see problems, because men love solving problems. We only see problems in our life. So we don't actually see places where life exists. An easy place to kind of cement this idea without even having to talk to anybody is go into the woods by yourself or with your kids. Doesn't matter. Same effect will happen. Go into the woods and just visualize around you. How much life do you hear? How much life do you see? How much life can you feel if you put your hand on something? Avoid the poison ivy. How much life can you smell when standing in the middle of a forest? I want you to hold that feeling. I want you to hold that thought, because it's this recipe that will get you to have more life into your life. The illusion that most men really get sucked into is that men have to live life in this pattern of purpose, of work, and providing. But the problem with that is it's a pattern. It doesn't really have a purpose other than it just provides and pays the bills. It doesn't actually equate to living in most cases. Maybe in the rare case where you do the one thing that you've always wanted to your entire life, but most men do not have that. And that's probably the case with you. In this idea of going into nature and realizing how much life is around you, I want you to think of this as well, that life is truly abundant. Life is truly abundant. It's our mindset that changes it. It's our mindset that slowly takes it away. And it's our mindset that prevents us from being able to accept more of it. We often think like, I can't handle more life. I can't handle this because I don't have enough time. Time isn't something nature needs. When you're in the woods, there is no time to see that life. There is no work. There's no emails. There's no texts. There's no phone calls to see that life. There just is. Even walking outside in your yard, take your socks off. Feel the grass. Does it feel alive? It should. If it's not, you take better care of your yard. And if it doesn't, it still feels like something. It still feels like something that was. How to invite more life into your life is realizing that your mindset is what's keeping it closed. Your mindset is what's saying no. And finding opportunities where life is happening, whether that be at a sports event, whether that be coaching your kids' event, whether that be at a networking event for business, whether that be just going someplace and having conversation like a coffee shop, or texting a friend and saying, hey, you want to meet for a coffee? Now, those things do take time, but the most important part of inviting more life into your life is realizing that people are life. We are energy. We are just like nature. We are alive. So the more people you can invite into your life, and honestly, the more that you can invite and put yourself into a place where you're not comfortable with the people around you and that they're not people that you've currently known or met or understood or know their story, the more likely you are to be able to invite more life into your life. Because this is also the same dating advice that I give to dads rebooting after divorce, or if I talk to someone that's not married yet, is to invite more life into your life. You have to be open. You have to be receptive to it. And by going to places where life exists, you will become something. You will grow into something, just like the trees, the grass, the leaves in the forest. You are growing into something. That something can attract what you want. That something can attract who you've always wanted to be. That attraction is that energy, either in a relationship with another partner or just in a business partner or maybe a job opportunity that you've always wanted your entire life. Whatever it may be, realize that your mindset is the barrier to life. Life is truly abundant. And going to places where life exists and inviting it into your life is how you can slowly start changing those feelings, that stuckness, that rut, and getting to where you've always wanted to go. But at the bare minimum, always remember, life is abundant. You always know where you can go. And one of my favorite things to do at lunch is to go find a pathway somewhere in town that's along a river or in a forest and just walk it and just listen and just see people walking, see people running. That's life. Life is not meant to be experienced in a four-wall cubed or in an office with a view. Life is meant to be experienced, captured, grabbed, and felt. You have to do that. You have to open your mind to it, and you have to invite it in to your life. If this conversation resonated with you and you want to continue this conversation, if you want to learn how to invite more life into your life, I invite you to a Design Your Legacy call, heading over to bencloy.com. Top right, there is a button for a link to my calendar. There's also a link down in the show notes for this episode as well. That'll be it for you today, guys, and I'll be back again with you guys tomorrow.